Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing my hair and makeup while I talk to you about my birth story and postpartum experience. Stay connected to listen to it all. I currently have so many butterflies at the moment. It is April 12, 2024 at 4:30 a.m. My husband and I are making our way towards the hospital. It is only about a 30-minute drive from our home, so we arrived at the hospital at 5 a.m. We are making our way towards these roundabout doors to head to the labor and delivery. It's so quiet. There's not a single soul around. We are in the elevator going towards the third floor to go into the triage, which they checked me in at 5:15 a.m. We are making sure that I have all the right fluids. So they did hook me on to some IVs. I was feeling a bit tired, but I'm glad that we were able to monitor baby's heart rate and everything was looking great. I'm feeling a bit tired and excited at the same time. My water is officially broken. I am 1 centimeter dilated and now we're just waiting to get placed into a delivery room. To make it a lot easier for myself and a better experience for you, I'm just going to go ahead and do a voiceover. If not, I would never finish telling my story while I do my hair and makeup. As a first-time mom, everything that you experience from pregnancy to birth to postpartum could be nerve-wracking or just a very intense process in general. I remember being pregnant and just feeling so tired. On my third trimester, I didn't even want to do my hair anymore. I literally would just pick it up in a bun and call it a day. Now that I'm 1 month postpartum, I definitely have a little bit more energy to do my hair. I'm a firm believer that if you look good, you feel good. I woke up my husband around 4 a.m. and all I remember is me going to the restroom and telling him we have to go because this is literally the real deal. I don't know about you, but I always thought that I was going to have this gush of water just come right out of me, just like the movies. But that was not the case at all. I was 100% wrong on that. If you are someone that did actually experience that gushing of water come out of you, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your experience. Let's talk about the dryness that pregnancy and after birth actually gives your skin. I don't know about you, but my skin really went through this dehydration. But this e.l.f. moisturizer on my eyes has been definitely a lifesaver for me because my skin, I feel like I'm trying to get it back into hydration mode. If you have any tips for that, please let me know in the comments as well. The amount of sleep that you lose during pregnancy and after birth is crazy. Using the e.l.f. Hydration Eye Cream has literally been something that I have been implementing into my skincare routine. Now that I'm postpartum, it's definitely helped my under eyes feel a lot more hydrated. I'm also using the Good Molecules Hyaluronic Acid, which is the serum that would give you that extra hydration that your skin is currently looking for. If you're anything like me experiencing the dryness, this is something you're going to want to use and implement into your skincare routine. I 100% recommend this product. If you give this serum a try, let me know in the comments if this is something that you will start implementing in your skincare routine. I remember wanting to do my makeup so I can look good in my photos once my baby was born, but that did not go my way. Actually, I ended up not doing my makeup and I went in with a bare face because of how dehydrated my skin was looking. So I was desperate for anything that would help me look a little bit more hydrated. So when I was giving birth, I remember that the nurses told me, well, you still have to wait a little bit before you even take a shower. And you know that first shower be hitting the spot. I was looking forward to that first shower right after giving birth. I believe it was like 8 to 9 hours that the nurses even gave me the go ahead before I could take a shower. And the reason why is because they had so many things to do in between for me and the baby. So they just wanted to make sure that I was okay before even getting into the water. I arrived at the hospital being 1 centimeter dilated. However, I knew that this was going to be the real deal because my baby was not coming on their birth date. Actually, she ended up coming 1 week later, which was a total of 40 weeks. And honestly, I felt like the process was going fast and slow. So I felt like I was ready. My body was preparing me to get ready for labor. So I was just there at the hospital room, just relaxed and waiting for my time to come when it was time. I remember that they were going to immediately move me into the labor and delivery room, but the reason why I waited so long is because there was a mom that went in at 7 centimeters dilated, so they ended up giving her my room, which is no problem. Like, she was right there ready to give birth, and I still had a long ways to go. While I waited at the triage room, I felt very nervous and excited at the same time because I was so close yet so far to meet my baby. However, I felt really bad because they gave my husband this little small seating chair for him to sit on. Well, actually, it's one of those recliners, but it's still not comfortable for him. So the fact that we had to wait for a very long time was a little daunting on both of us. They finally moved us into the labor and delivery room, and I remember that they were just putting me in this wheelchair, rolling me into the hallway to get me to my room. As soon as I walked into that room, I felt very, very nervous. Like, I knew there was no way but one way to get this baby out. Shout out to my husband because he was honestly super supportive through it all. And I feel like without him, I wouldn't be able to get through this process. I remember hitting 8 centimeters dilated, and the nurses and doctors kept asking me if I wanted the epidural or not. Honestly, I kept saying, no, I got this, I can do it unmedicated. But then it hit to a point where they said that my cervix was a little swollen, so I definitely needed the epidural to help ease that pain a little bit more, which I'm very grateful I ended up getting because, to be honest, I don't think I could have done it without the epidural. Shout out to my mom and to all moms who ended up giving birth without the epidural. You are so strong. And even if you did get the epidural, know that you are strong as well. It doesn't matter whether you went unmedicated or medicated through the birth, you are still someone that gave birth to a baby. And you are honestly just an awesome person because not anyone can do it. And by that, I mean men can't do it. So I believe that women are beautiful, strong, and amazing souls. And to all my C section mamas out there, you are also brave and beautiful. And if you're someone's partner that is giving birth, please be super supportive of them. It is not an easy experience. It doesn't matter whether you're getting a C section, a medicated, unmedicated birth. It is an experience that is still very hard and something that is very nerve wracking for all women. So please be very supportive because honestly, you have somebody that is about to have your child, and you want to make sure that you are a very supportive partner. 1 hour after receiving my epidural, I wasn't even in labor for that long. I ended up having my baby girl at 8:25 a.m. I remember my husband was holding my hand, and then all of a sudden, I ended up having my baby girl on my chest. It was the most beautiful, amazing, unforgettable experience that I will never forget. Shout out to the medical team that was in the room helping me go through this experience. I definitely felt like I had a positive experience. It made me feel very comfortable and very relaxed. I remember having the shivers and the shakes and so much pain that the nurses were literally such sweethearts. They were helping me through it all. They were being very encouraging, even in moments where I felt like I didn't want nobody touching me, nobody talking to me, because I was in that much pain, that they were very patient. So I'm very grateful for the team that was in that room that day. I've heard so many horrific stories about women giving birth and then just not having the most positive experience. So I was already working at my nerves, but thankfully my mom would keep me on my toes by telling me, "Hey, Mika, you'll be fine. Just don't think like that." So that you can have a positive experience. As long as you have a strong mentality, you will be completely fine. So I'm grateful that my mom was able to help me feel better in general. I remember my mom giving me so many advice, but the one tip that I remembered was no estés gritando. Don't be yelling and don't be screaming while you're pushing because if not, te va a doler más. It's going to hurt you more while you're giving birth. Honestly, that was the best advice she could have given me because throughout the whole pain, as much as I wanted to scream and yell, I didn't do any of that. Instead, what I ended up doing is I took deep breaths and I ended up pushing and making sure that I didn't tear because that was my biggest fear. Honestly, it was so smooth. My baby ended up coming out pretty fast, and I was very grateful for my mom's tip and advice. Let's talk about the shakes and shivers real quick. That felt so real. I know that when I would see videos on YouTube of moms giving birth, I honestly thought they were exaggerating, but now that I've been through it, the shivers and the shakes is a real thing. Honestly, I was constantly cold, I was in so much pain. So, having my husband right there with me was something that I was really grateful for, but man, those shakes and shivers are so real. Once I had my baby, I had to decide whether I was going to do formula or breastfeed. I honestly felt like breastfeeding was going to be the best option for my baby. So I ended up having to learn how to do a lot of the breastfeeding, the latching, dealing with the milk. My milk ended up coming literally instantly right after birth. So I had no issue with that. I did start off with pumping between 3 ounces to 4 ounces, and I was like that for a hot while until my third week of postpartum. I ended up pumping about 3 to 6 ounces, which was amazing because I ended up stacking so much milk in the freezer that I ended up having to go get a large deep freezer just to store all of my milk in there. At first, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to provide the breast milk to my child. I've heard so many moms tell me that their experience with that didn't go well because their milk didn't come in at all, or they just had very low supply and couldn't really keep up with the supply that their child needed. So they ended up resorting to formula. Not that there's anything wrong with formula milk, it's just that I preferred to have breast milk for my child, which I'm very glad that my milk ended up coming and I'm able to produce for my child. My mom and my sister came to visit me, and during my first 2 weeks of postpartum, I felt like their help was very needed, and it was something that was making my process as a first time mom very smooth and easy. With the guidance of my mom, I was able to get through it. It wasn't until after they left I felt like, okay, now I officially am alone with my husband and this newborn child. How are we going to get through this with all the sleepless nights? But honestly, I feel like we've managed, and now that I'm 1 month postpartum, I felt like we got the hang of breastfeeding and the night sleeps routines and pretty much everything that comes down to what our baby needs. Hydration is definitely key. So if you're planning to breastfeed or are currently breastfeeding and your supply is low, you want to make sure you're constantly drinking water to help build that supply up for your baby. Being into my first month postpartum, I've learned so much, especially with all the tips that my mom has given me. First one being to wear a faja right after birth because you're going to want your organs to go back into place. And plus, you're just going to need that extra support because you've just given birth and you've had a big belly and now there's no baby in you. So, wearing that faja is something that's going to give you that support. I've ordered so many fajas from Amazon and Misty Face simply because I wanted to try out one that was going to make me feel comfortable wearing it all day. And honestly, I feel like I found one that I absolutely love. So shout out to Misty Face because their fajas are amazing. So if you are a postpartum mama looking for a faja, definitely check them out. My mom's Latina, so she has a lot of tips and advice, and one of them being is you should always never be descalza, never be barefoot porque te puede entrar aire. Literally, I don't know how to translate that in English, but if you know, you know. And honestly, I followed her advice. I've always made sure that I've always wore at least comfy socks and always stayed covered because the last thing you want to do is jeopardize your health and if you could avoid it, just make sure you are taking care of yourself through your postpartum. If you were to ask me for 7 tips as a first time mom, first one would be is do grocery pickup. It exists for a reason. Don't waste your time shopping. Just order online and pick up at the store. Save yourself some time and energy. Second tip would be if you can go outside and go for a walk, do it. It will make you super happy and your hormones will skyrocket. Please do it for your sanity. Tip number 3 would be either buy bottled water or use a gallon and fill it up with water so you can have it easy on the go and pretty much stay hydrated all day. Tip number 4 would be don't use your phone in the middle of the night when baby wakes up. The light from your phone will confuse the brain into thinking that it's time for your baby to wake up instead of falling asleep. Trust me, if you could avoid the phone light, the faster you will go to bed. Tip number 5, have a little station where you have all of your postpartum essentials and all of your baby essentials so that it is a lot easier for you to grab and just pretty much have it super accessible for you when you need it. Tip number 6. Buy protein-rich snacks to help you get you through the day. Newborn life is hard, so make your life a little bit easier with something sweet. And tip number 7. Shower daily. It will make you feel human. Some postpartum essentials that have helped me out as a first-time mom is to definitely use a nipple balm. That has helped me out so much to make sure that my nipples don't crack. So that is something that I would like to share with you if you are breastfeeding. And if you gave a vaginal birth, using cooling pads from Freedom Mom is also very helpful. And if you're planning to breastfeed your baby, definitely invest in a good nursing bra. It will definitely come in handy when it's time for you to nurse your baby. Newborn life is hard, so if you are going through these stages, just know that you will get through it. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some time to heal, and just know that all these changes won't last long. Congratulations to all mamas that had a baby this year. We just birthed a dragon baby. Well, besties, this was my birth story and 1 month postpartum experience. Please like and subscribe to stay connected for more. I'll see you next time.